Help me reach 6,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I used to think lies had a smell. Something faint, like burnt sugar, sweet at first, but it lingers too long. I didn't realize until recently how right I was. My wife, Melissa, had started smelling different. Not perfume, not soap. Just something unfamiliar. The kind of scent that doesn't come from home. We'd been married 8 years. Not perfect, but solid. Or so I believed. She worked part-time at a design studio. I managed a logistics firm. Busy lives, different schedules. We'd always made it work. Movie nights on Fridays, lazy breakfasts on Sundays. Until, slowly, she started becoming unavailable. It began with simple things. Canceled dinners. Late-night texts that said, "I'm with my sister, catching up." Sometimes it was yoga, sometimes errands, always some version of, "I'll be late." I trusted her. Foolishly, perhaps, but trust was the one thing I thought we both still held sacred. Her sister, Anna, was the opposite of Melissa. Calm. Centered. The kind of woman who noticed small details and actually cared when she asked, "How are you?" I'd known Anna almost as long as I'd known my wife. She was the kind of person you could talk to when life didn't make sense. It was one Thursday evening when everything began to unravel. Melissa texted me around 6 p.m. "Hey babe, heading to Anna's. We'll be having dinner there. Don't wait up." I glanced at the message, smiled, and replied a simple, "Okay. Have fun." I remember feeling oddly peaceful. But life has a strange sense of humor. An hour later, while leaving work, I ran into Anna. Literally. She was walking out of a bookstore near my office. She smiled, surprised. "Daniel? What are you doing here?" I blinked. "I should be asking you that. Melissa said she was with you." Her expression faltered, confusion crossing her face like a shadow. "With me? No, I haven't seen her in weeks." That was the moment the air changed. The noise of the city faded into a dull hum. I just stood there, phone still in my hand, reading her text again and again. Heading to Anna's. I wanted to laugh. Not the funny kind. The bitter, hollow kind that comes when reality starts to rearrange itself. Anna looked at me, concerned. "Are you okay?" I nodded, but I wasn't. Not even close. We ended up grabbing coffee at a small cafe nearby. I told her about the messages, about how Melissa had been distant lately. Anna listened quietly, her brows furrowed. When I finished, she said softly, "You know, I've been getting calls from random numbers. When I answer, no one speaks, just silence. I thought it was a wrong number. Something inside me clicked. A puzzle I didn't even know existed started assembling itself." I told her not to worry, but my mind was racing. If Melissa wasn't with Anna, then where was she? And why lie about it? That night, I didn't confront her. I waited. She came home around midnight, humming softly, tossing her purse on the couch like everything was fine. I watched her from the kitchen as she poured herself a glass of water. "How was dinner?" I asked. She smiled. "Oh, you know Anna." She wouldn't stop talking about her new job. That was the moment I realized how easily lies roll off a practiced tongue. Her eyes didn't flinch. Her tone didn't waver. If I hadn't known better, I'd have believed every word. I said nothing, just nodded, kissed her forehead, and pretended everything was normal. But the next morning, I started keeping track. Her messages, her calls, her excuses. Patterns emerged, nights with her sister, followed by early morning showers, unreadable moods, sudden affection that felt performative. Over the next week, I quietly installed a GPS tracker app on her phone. Not because I wanted to be that husband, but because I needed truth. Real truth. The kind that hurts, but frees you. 3 nights later, she said it again. "I'm heading to Anna's." I smiled, kissed her cheek, and wished her a good night. Then I opened my laptop. The tracker blinked to life. She was moving west, not north, nowhere near Anna's address. My chest tightened. I zoomed in. She stopped at a hotel near the downtown area. Room lights, cars parked close, anonymous. I didn't rush there. I just watched. She stayed for nearly 2 hours before leaving. No text, no call, no guilt. Just a calm drive back home. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay beside her, watching her breathe, wondering when love had turned into surveillance. By Saturday, I'd decided to tell Anna. Not because I wanted to ruin her sister's reputation, but because she deserved to know she was being used as a prop in someone else's story. When I told her, she went silent. Then she whispered, "I think I can help you." That line changed everything. Anna asked me to meet her the next evening. We chose a quiet diner on the outskirts of town. One of those places where no one knows your name and no one cares why you look tired. She was already there when I arrived. A mug of coffee untouched in front of her, fingers tapping nervously against the table. "I couldn't sleep last night," she said softly. "I kept thinking about what you told me. There's something you should know, Daniel." Her voice trembled slightly as she continued. "A few weeks ago, Melissa borrowed my old camera. She said she wanted to use it for work. But when I got it back, I found photos on the memory card. Not work-related. Personal." She slid a small envelope across the table. Inside were printed photos. Melissa with a man I'd never seen before. Same hotel, same timestamp as the tracker logs I had. I felt my hands go cold, but my mind, strangely clear. There's a moment when pain becomes clarity. The fog lifts and you finally see everything as it is, not as you wanted it to be. I looked at Anna, who seemed just as broken by the truth. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't be," I said quietly. "You didn't do this." We sat in silence for a long time. Eventually, Anna said something that stuck with me. "Melissa always envied what she couldn't control, even happiness. If you were calm, she'd look for chaos." It was like hearing my marriage explained in one sentence. The next day, I made a plan. Not revenge, I wasn't interested in that. I wanted closure, honesty. I wanted her to say it, to admit it. So I told her sister to play along. The next Friday, I told Melissa I had a business trip. She smiled, kissed me, and said she'd stay with Anna for the night. I told her that sounded perfect. That evening, instead of leaving town, I parked 2 blocks away from the same hotel I'd seen on the tracker. My phone buzzed around 8:47 p.m. Her location confirmed. Same address, same lie. But this time Anna was with me. She'd insisted on coming. "For my own peace of mind," she'd said. Together we walked into the hotel lobby. My heart was calm, steady, almost detached. The receptionist barely looked up when I asked for a room under the man's name. He told us where it was without hesitation. We stood outside the door, both of us silent, listening. Muffled laughter, faint music. I don't remember deciding to knock. My hand just moved. The sound inside stopped. A few seconds later, the door cracked open. Melissa's face appeared, startled, pale. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Then her eyes darted from me to Anna standing beside me, and something inside her collapsed. "Daniel, save it," I said. "You told me you were with her tonight. So, technically, you didn't lie completely. She is here." Her lips trembled, but no words came out. The man behind her stepped forward, shirt half-buttoned, looking guilty and foolish at the same time. I didn't shout. I didn't throw anything. I just looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I once built a life around. Now just a stranger caught in the ruins of her own choices. I turned to Anna and said softly, "Let's go." Melissa called after us, her voice cracking, but I didn't stop. The elevator ride down felt like the longest silence of my life. Outside, the night air felt clean, cold, honest. Anna didn't speak for a while, then finally asked, "What will you do now?" "I'll start over," I said, without lies, without pretending. She nodded and we drove in silence. The next morning, Melissa tried calling me. 12 times. I didn't answer. She texted long apologies, excuses, stories about being confused, lonely, misunderstood. I deleted them all. A week later, I filed for separation. She didn't fight it. Maybe she knew she'd already lost long before I caught her. Months passed. I moved into a small apartment downtown. I started cooking again, reading again, sleeping through the night. Freedom doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like breathing clean air after years underground. One afternoon, I got a call from Anna. She was moving out of the city, new job, new start. Before leaving, she wanted to meet one last time. We met at that same cafe where everything had begun. She looked lighter, happier. I thanked her. Not just for her help, but for her honesty. She smiled. You know what's funny? The night Melissa lied about being with me, I almost called you to ask if you wanted to grab dinner. But I didn't want it to seem weird. I laughed quietly. Would have been quite a dinner. She grinned, and for the first time in a long while, I felt something I hadn't felt, peace. As we said goodbye, she hugged me and whispered, "You deserve someone who tells the truth, even when it hurts." Later that night, as I sat by the window watching the city lights, I thought about how small moments, one message, one meeting, one lie, can change the entire course of a life. Melissa's betrayal didn't destroy me. It revealed me. It stripped away the illusion that love means blindness. Now, when someone asks if I believe in second chances, I smile. I do, I say. Just not for the same person twice. And as for Melissa, she still texts sometimes. How are you? Can we talk? I never respond. Because some stories don't need an ending. They just need to stop.